The old house creaked. The wind howled outside. It was a dark and stormy night. Rain beat against the windows. Emily was alone inside. She was reading a book, but the wind was making her nervous. The windows rattled in their frames. She looked up from her book. The shadows in the room seemed to be moving. Emily shivered. She pulled her blanket tight. Emily tried to ignore the shadows. She went back to her book, but the shadows danced and twisted. She couldn't concentrate. The shadows whispered. At first it was very faint. Emily almost didn't notice it. She paused her reading again. The whispers grew louder. They seemed to be coming from the shadows themselves. They slithered across the walls. "Come with us," the shadows whispered. "Come with us." Emily felt a chill run down her spine. She hugged her blanket closer. Her heart started to pound in her chest. The whispers grew louder. They were all around her now. Emily felt trapped. "Come with us, Emily!" the shadows hissed. "Come with us!" Emily shook her head. She didn't want to go with the shadows. She didn't know what they were. Emily squeezed her eyes shut. She wished the shadows would go away. She wished she wasn't alone. Emily couldn't stand it anymore. She jumped off the couch. She ran to the corner of the room. She huddled on the floor. She buried her face in her blanket. She tried to block out the whispers. "We're coming to get you, Emily," the shadows whispered. "We're coming." Emily didn't look. She kept her eyes tightly shut. She wished she could disappear. Then everything went silent. The whispers stopped. The wind died down. The house was completely quiet. Emily slowly opened her eyes. She peeked out from under her blanket. The shadows were gone. The room was still dark. But the shadows weren't moving. They weren't whispering. Emily took a deep breath. Maybe it was over. Maybe the shadows were gone for good. But then she heard it, a single whisper very close to her ear. "We're already here," it whispered. Emily screamed. She looked up. The shadows were all around her. They were closing in. The shadows reached out for her. Emily tried to run, but it was too late. The shadows had her. They wrapped around her like a cold, dark blanket. Emily screamed again, but this time no sound came out. The next morning, the sun rose. It shone through the windows of the old house. The storm was gone. The house was empty. There was no sign of Emily. Only the shadows remained. They whispered quietly in the morning light. They were waiting for the next victim to come along. The shadows were always hungry. They always wanted more, and they always got what they wanted.